Hi, and welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you can be up to date and get notifications for when I post new content. I have a very unhealthy obsession with soda, all sorts of soda, doesn't matter what kind. And I really need to start drinking a lot more water. But we're back. We're back with the Baddies South Season 2, Episode 13 review. I thought the season would be over by now, but it looks like we're going to get 14 to 15 episodes, not including the reunion. This is going to be I think this is going to be Zeus's longest running shows. Excuse me. Usually we don't get this many episodes in a season, but looks like we're going to get quite a few episodes here. So the girls are in Houston. Remember, they were at Anthony's birthday party last week. Sidney Starr showed up and crashed the party. At this point, it's turning into Stalker Starr. And she's looking a hot ass mess. She's getting thrown out of the party. They're throwing water on her. They're cussing at her. And just like I said in last week's episode, this is such not a good look for Sidney. It's obvious that she has no team around her. Nobody around her saying, this is not a good look for you, Sid. Like, Sidney, your brand, just you overall, has become mess. Just mess. Like, it looks so thirsty and desperate for you at this point, and I just don't understand why you are doing this, other than you're getting paid to do it, they're wanting you to do it, or you're just delusional at this point. I'm going to go with you're just delusional. But I try to like Sidney. Like I told y'all, I've seen her on other shows, and she seems cool. But it feels like when it comes to this whole bad girl persona, she feels like she has to show up, show out, act a fool, fight, scream, throw drinks to get attention, and you don't have to do that. Natalie, at one point was like, Anthony, do you not have a guest list? Like in her confessional, like, I'm sure Anthony did have a guest list, but this is further why I feel like production put Sidney up to this. Because if Anthony did have a guest list, which I'm sure he did, and Sidney wasn't on it, they wouldn't let her in. Unless it was a setup and production wanted Sidney there to create some drama, and that's how she got in. I mean, hello. Does anybody else feel that way? Like, do y'all really feel like Sidney's just showing up at these places? And two, think about it. Sidney's from Chicago. Is she just flying to Nashville and, flying to Houston and doing this thing, taking money out of her pocket just to show up to be on Baddies? Maybe she is. I don't know. Gutta performs. We see him do a performance. And Curtis is there on stage. Y'all notice Curtis was like being Gutta's hype man, but you didn't know the lyrics, Curtis. I'm like, you there to be Gutta's hype man, but you don't even know the lyrics to the song. Oh, walk, walk, walk. The song is catchy, but I'm like, y'all know me. I gotta be shady. Cause I'm watching and I'm like, is it just me or was Gutta trying to rip off Saucy Santana's song? Now let me see you walk, 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 walk. I mean, the songs are different, but they're similar too. Walk, walk. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Saucy's song Walk did so well, and like all the girls and the gays were doing their walk to it. It almost just made me feel like that Gutta was trying to get the same response from his song, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but they are similar. Anthony, Anthony even had Cash Doll at his party. Like, Anthony's not my favorite, but I enjoyed him on the show, but he really knows how to throw a party. I said that on last week's episode, but like throwing a good party, like there's some different key elements here. He had plenty of people there because nobody wants to throw a party and there be nobody there. He had plenty of people. There was plenty of room. You had a DJ. They had bartenders. Looked like there was a pool. Then you got Cash Doll performing. Like, that was a party that I would have loved to have been at. So you did your big one, Anthony. The girls get on the bus and they're having a good time. They're dancing, they're partying, and Natalie wants to let some of the fans on the bus. Y'all remember that part? Rolly was not feeling it at all. And at first, I was like, no, Rolly, you ain't better than nobody. Because she was like, I love my fans and all, but I don't want them to be on the bus with me. And I'm like, really, Rolly? Now, I can understand where Rolly was coming from because at one point, half of me understand where she's coming from. The other half of me was like, just let your fans get on the bus and enjoy the moment. But Natalie was inviting a lot of people. Like, she was inviting people. And at one point she was like, okay, 5 more people. And I'm like, girl, y'all are just on a little Sprinter van and there's already 10 of y'all. You trying to add 10 more people in there? That bus looked so claustrophobic. I would have probably felt the same way. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why is there so many people on the bus? I could see 2 to 3 fans, giving 2 to 3 fans that unique experience to come on the bus and chill with y'all and meet y'all. You know, I get it. I get it. But y'all had a bunch of people on there, and I couldn't help but thinking, I see there's a bunch of twerking going on. There's a bunch of ass in the air. I'm like, ooh, that bus looked like it probably... it probably felt like some coochie in the air. So Sydney's outside the bus lurking like a groupie stalker that she is. Like, it's giving desperado Sydney. I can't even believe that this is not stopped yet. Sydney just keeps on and keeps on. And she wants Natalie to get off the bus and have a conversation with her. So Natalie gets off the bus to have a conversation, and then Persuasion gets off the bus and runs and sneaks Sydney out of nowhere. It just like gets her from behind. And I'm like, now Persuasion. I've let you off the hook this entire season and gave you the benefit of the doubt in most situations. But where has your energy been this entire season? You got all this energy for Sydney and want to sneak her from behind. But you didn't have none of this energy with Krishan, with Anne. Well, she did fight Anne, didn't she? I don't know. I felt some type of way about her today. Because, yes, Sydney is stalkerish and she's crazy. But then later, I think Persuasion says that she did it because Sydney threw a drink on her. And if she did, I can kind of understand that as well. But I've been sneak dissed before. I've had somebody come behind me and push me down a flight of steps, an ex-boyfriend. The same ex-boyfriend come up to me as I'm sitting down and punch me as I'm sitting down or as I'm turned around. I don't like the sneak dissing shit. Come to me face to face and square up and we can get the one in if that's what we've got to do. But don't wait till I'm in a vulnerable position so you could try to get your one in. Like, that's not cool at all. So that's the only reason that I was looking at Persuasion sideways. Like, man, I don't know. But Sydney sounds like a crazy, scorned ex at this point. She's talking to Natalie. Natalie, why did you do this to me? We talked on the phone for 2 to 3 hours every night. You promised me. You promised me. She keeps saying that Natalie promised her that she was going to be on season 2. And I believe it. I'm sure Natalie did promise Sydney that she was going to be on season 2. But come on, Sydney. You know what Natalie's reputation is. You know how Natalie is. And you know you can't trust her. So I don't know why all these girls, it happened to Jayla, it happened to Sarah, it's happening to Sydney now. All y'all feel like Natalie has your best interests at heart. She ends up staying on the phone with you girls for hours and making y'all feel like she's your bestie boo. And then she stabs you in the back and you cry, woe is me. We don't feel sorry for y'all at this point, okay? And you could have been a part of season 2, Sydney, if you would have been more relatable and likable by the fans. But you tried so hard that it just came off as thirsty and desperate. And it was so hard for us to watch your season and you on Baddies, and you made it just, it was just, yeah, no. Like, all the talks we had every night, you said I was going to be on season 2. And the only reason I believe that Natalie told Sydney she was going to be on season 2, because Natalie denies it throughout the rest of the episode. But I believe it because I've watched an interview with Rocky from Bad Girls Club, Raquel Santiago. Rocky, I know Rocky. Rocky said that Natalie told her she wanted her to be on season 2. Later on, Natalie's mind changed and Rocky heard nothing from her. She also told Lucci V she wanted her to be on season 2. Now, I'm not making all this up. This is all on YouTube. Go find it. Lucci V said it in one of her videos that Natalie called her for Bad Girls, and like a week or 2 beforehand, something happened. Now it's happening to Sydney, claiming that she was supposed to be on season 2. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened to Christina. she promised Christina to be a part of season 2 and then just said fuck Christina and spun the narrative that Christina didn't show up. I don't know. We don't know all the truth to that. I'd like to hear. Does anybody know what Christina said about that? Somebody update me in the comments below. Does anybody know what Christina said? Because, Natalie claims on episode 1 that Christina just didn't show up. But that just don't seem right to me. That she said she ran off with the check. That's what she said. Excuse me, y'all. Thank you. Thank you for being patient with me as I drink. So yeah, I've heard that from Rocky, from Lucci V, and now Sidney. And it's sad that they need drama this bad, that they keep bringing Sidney up. And some of y'all may think that Sidney is actually popping up, but here's another theory of mine. Take Sidney out of the equation. Last week, take her out of the Nashville episode, take her out of this week. She shows up next week too. Take her out of that. Take her out, and you don't have drama for those episodes. Think about it. You don't have any drama. I think they were really scrambling for something to happen because towards the end of the tour, like after the Rolly and Natalie fight, like I would say Nashville into New Orleans, the girls started getting along more and they weren't fighting like they were in Atlanta and in Charlotte and like they were in the beginning. So I think that they really needed some drama and some fight. So they brought Sidney in for the drama. And like I said, if Sidney would just be cool, Sidney, and I'm sure they would invite you out. You could have been at Anthony's party. You can show up at the Zeus events. You could go to this stuff. I keep burping. This fucking Pepsi's got me burping, y'all. I'm sorry. But you could show up to this stuff, Sidney. You could be a part of the family if you would just chill out and quit being a thirst bucket. So we're back at the house the next day after the party, and they're all talking about stalking Starr. Like the whole episode was damn near about Sidney, and she's not even a part of the cast. Natalie says, yeah, she kept saying we talked hours and hours. We did talk hours and hours, and I told you you weren't a part of season 2. Natalie, you know that's a fucking lie. Quit trying to save face. You know you told this girl that she was going to be a part of season 2. Natalie then says, one of my close friends keeps asking me, are y'all paying this girl to show up? No, we're not paying her to show up. Yeah, right. No, but Zeus Production probably is. Maybe they're not. Part of me thinks Sidney is just doing this for clout, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I really want to know what y'all think about that. I really want to know what y'all think about this whole Sidney Starr situation because I'm kind of stuck here. So the girls are getting ready to go to Area 29, which is a strip club that Persuasion works at. So I'm guessing Persuasion either is from Houston or she lives in Houston. So she's having all the girls come out to her spot tonight, where she works, her area, cool, whatever. Jayla is staying, Jayla says she's too tired, so she's staying at the house. Watching this, a lot of y'all have commented throughout the season on these reviews and said that Bree reminds y'all of Dylan from Bad Boys. And I didn't see it until this episode. Like, I was watching her and I was like, oh yeah, the viewers are fucking right. Like y'all are so right. She totally reminds me of Dylan. The way she talks, her mannerisms, her attitude, her personality. Totally fucking Dylan. And then Scotty, I've grown to like Scotty a lot. Like at first I was iffy about Scotty with how she came in, but she's very unproblematic to me. And I could see myself getting along with the Scotty outside of the show. And she has a lot of cute and funny confessional moments. Like, I don't know, I really like Scotty. I knew she would grow on me. I knew she was just when she came into the house and she tried that shit she tried when she first came in the house, talking about I run Charlotte and all this shit. I knew she was just doing that to try to make her mark. It had to be. I'm glad I can see it now because she just seems like a cool chick. I don't know, maybe she'll prove me wrong because the show is not over yet. But I like Scotty. Now listen, I'm not trying to be, y'all please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude. But Zeus, y'all are shady as fuck. Y'all are shady as fuck for that close up, slow motion shot of Persuasion shaking her ass. Did y'all see that? Go back and rewind towards the end of the episode where they're in the strip club and they got the bottle of champagne next to Persuasion's ass, and her ass cheeks are opening and closing in slow motion, and her booty hole, like, I now y'all remember Persuasion said earlier in the season that she loved her some anal sex, and baby, her booty hole looked like it, cause all you could see when that ass opened up was a G-string, and then you could see that booty hole, you could see them lips, and I'm just like, oh, I was like, oh my God, Persuasion, baby, what are you doing? You need an anal bleaching. Like, I know we all get a little, between the booty cheeks can get, you've seen like dark. We've all seen people in between people's booty cheeks. They're not getting any, we're not getting sunlight in between our cheeks. So I get it. We're human. They're going to get dark. But Persuasion, baby, what happened? I don't know. Between her and Bree's legs and thighs being all bruised, like, I don't know. Is Zeus just using some fucking high definition cameras? Like, damn. Like, oof, shit. Um, I was gonna do picture to picture. I was gonna put a picture up here for y'all, but I'm like, I can't get in trouble by YouTube because I was literally about to put it up here. I'm like, if I put Persuasion's asshole up here, YouTube is gonna flag that shit so quick. I'm like, I am not trying to lose my channel. So, um, but the episode ends. This was kind of like a little bit of a boring episode. I'm not gonna lie. There wasn't too much that happened this episode. Besides the fight between Persuasion and Sidney, which wasn't even really a fight. Like, Sidney can't fight. I think Persuasion connected maybe once or twice to Sidney's head. But I mean, hey. Um, Episode ends. And I don't even know why. Like, I thought this was gonna be the finale, but apparently we still have another episode. I don't know why we have another episode. They could have wrapped this shit up already, gave us 12 episodes. We would have been fine with it because there's really nothing happening. I mean, there's really nothing happening now. It looks like I said there's gonna be like 14 episodes possibly. We see next week that Sidney Starr is back again, and I'm like, really, y'all are this fucking bored with drama. Rock is back. We see Rock back next week, and I'm interested to see what's going on with Rock because she's rapping a song and she's crying while rapping and looking into Rolly's eyes. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm kind of interested to see what happens next week with Krishan being back. Maybe the show's been a little dry because Krishan was gone. I don't know. This episode was kind of dry. It was kind of boring. I'm like, can the show just be over at this point? Because we're all entertained by Bobby's show. Like, it's way better than this shit. Speaking of, if you have not been catching up with my Bobby I Love You Per reviews, check it out here on YouTube. I'm reviewing each and every episode of season 1 that's airing now on the Zeus Network. Make sure you check that out after this video. If you are watching the Bobby Lights dating show, if you're not watching it, make sure you go check it out. It's one of the best shows Zeus has out right now. So we're reviewing that. Yeah, that's the end of this review. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See ya.